Hi, I'm Mrs. Burns and welcome to Chapter 5. Today we are going to review something you already know. We're going to review how to decide what the area is for squares, rectangles, and triangles. So let's get started. First thing you need to know is that the area is just how much surface is covered within a given space, and when we times units by themselves, then it's those units squared, so that's why we say it's a number of square units. Centimeters times centimeters equals centimeters squared, for example. So let's use the formulas to figure out how to decide the area of a rectangle. Well, if the area is length times width, then we just say the area here is the length, 5.5, times the width of 3. So our area is 16.5 centimeters squared. Here we have area is 5 times 4, so our area is 20 centimeters squared. All right, let's try a triangle. A triangle, if you put two of the same triangle together, it makes a square. So that's why we just divide by 2 after we figure out the same formula as a square, basically. So base times height is just another way of saying length times width even. So we can say area equals the base here is 7 times the height is 5. So and we're going to divide that by 2. So 7 times 5 is 35 divided by 2, and we get an area of 17.5 centimeters squared. We could also do it this way with the division sign. It's the same thing, but we'll try it this way. The base is 7.5 times the height of 8. Divide that by 2. We get 7.5 times 8 is 60 divided by 2. So our area equals 30 centimeters squared. And finally, the parallelogram, area equals base times height, but the height isn't the length of the side, it's the height of the actual object there. So we have area equals 10.5 times 2.5, and we get an area of 26.25 centimeters squared. And this one, area equals base times height. So our area equals 50 centimeters squared. Great, let's try some word examples, my favorite. So the perimeter of a square is 20.4 meters. What's the area? So the perimeter, if you have a square, all the sides are the same for a square, and the perimeter is just one side plus another side plus another side plus another side. So if we added up all those sides, and we know something else, we know that there are 4 sides, so we're going to divide this number by 4 sides. So we have, that's the total length divided by 4 sides, they're all equal, equals 5.1 meters each side. So now that we know each side length, we can figure out the area. We know that the area of a square is special because the length times width is the same as length times length, which is the same as length squared. So we can say 5.1 times 5.1 is the same as 5.1 squared, and that's 26.01 meters squared. Way to go. Let's try the second example. If a garden is an area of 16 meters squared, the width of the garden is 2.5 meters. What is the length? Well, we know that area equals length times width. If we just rearrange this around a little bit, get the length by itself. To get length by itself, we can divide both sides by the width. Remember that whatever you do to one, you have to do to the other side. So now we end up with length equals area over width. We can plug this into 16 meters squared over 2.5 meters. And we get an answer of 6.4 meters in length. All right, last example here. A tennis court is 30 meters by 15 meters. A tennis club has 2 courts side by side in a fenced area. Let's draw this. So 30 by 15, so this is 15 this way, and this is 30 this way. and there are 2 courts side by side. So 30 and 15. Okay, and the courts have 2.5 meters between them. So this length right here is 2.5 meters, and 2.5 meters around the whole outside. So this is the whole outside where the fence is, fenced area, has 2 courts, and this length between the courts and the fence is 2.5. So we have 2 courts, 15 by 30. They have 2.5 meters in between them and 2.5 meters between them and the outside fence. So we're going to answer a few questions here. What is the total area of the 2 tennis courts? Well, we know that area equals length times width, and the area of these courts are 15 by 30. So our area for 1 court will be 450 meters squared. But remember, this is for 1. So we need to times this number by 2 because there's 2 courts. So our area is 900 meters squared for 2 courts. Great. Now, what are the dimensions of the fenced space? So that's saying what are the dimensions, what's the length and width of this whole big outside fence? Well, we know that the length of these courts are the 15 plus all the other stuff. So let's do length equals, here we have 2.5, oopsies. Here we have 2.5 plus 15, plus in the middle is 2.5 plus 15 plus another 2.5. So what I did is I just went across the whole side this way, and I counted up, oh, everything disappeared. Counted up all the different little distances I travel in between. So I go 2.5, then 15, then 2.5, then 15, then 2.5 to get to the other end. And this is a grand total of 37.5 meters. And now if I do the width as well, I'm going to go 2.5 from the top plus 30 along the court plus another 2.5 to the other fence. And this is a grand total of 35 meters. So it says, what are the dimensions of the fence space? We want to know length to width, length by width. So we can say 37.5 meters by 35 meters. That's the dimensions of our fence. All right, you keep looking at your image. I'm going to scroll up. What's the area of the fenced space? So we know, again, that area equals length times width. So we can just plug in what we just figured out, 37.5 times 35. And this gives us a grand total of 1,312.5 meters squared. So that's how big the whole fence space is with the 2 tennis courts and all those little gaps. So you want to pave your tennis courts a nice new finish on top, and it costs $40 per meter squared. So how much is it going to cost you just to pave the 2 tennis courts? Not all that little bit around it. So we know that the area of the tennis courts is 900 meters squared. So we're going to say, okay, the tennis court area for both tennis courts is 900 meters squared. Now, it's going to cost us $40 per meter squared. So if we times 900 by $40 each of those meters, then we get a very expensive cost of $36,000 to pave the tennis courts. Now, what about if you want to fence the whole outside? What does it cost to fence? Well, remember that the fencing includes the perimeter. So you're going along the whole outside of the fence. You don't need the area. So if we want the perimeter, we're going to say the length, oops, not times, plus the width, plus the next length, plus the next width. So we have to add all those sides together. So if we do that, we're going to get 37.5 plus 35 plus 37.5 plus 35, and that gives us a grand total of 145 meters. So that's just the perimeter of the fence. So if that's the perimeter, 145 meters, and it costs us $50 each meter. Then 50 times 145 gives us a cost of $7,250 in order to fence the whole tennis court area, including those little 2.5 meters. All right, I hope you're feeling like you remember all about areas and lengths and widths. We are going to practice this more in class tomorrow.